There's a moral issue at play, right? There's a principled issue. There's a poor governance in Jamaica in general. The government cannot orchestrate a vacancy in a constituency and then call that by-election the next day whilst ignoring a vacancy that exists for over a year in another constituency. That should be frowned on by all in Jamaicans.
Bless up my people. Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Isabel Rose. And in this one, my people, Integrity Commission submits an investigative report, ruling and special report to Parliament for tabling today, my people. It says, in keeping with its commitment previously made to the public, the Integrity Commission wishes to advise that it has today submitted to Parliament for tabling a report of investigation and an associated indicative ruling and full ruling of its Director of Corruption Prosecution. A special report under Section 36(3) of the Integrity Commission Act that is associated with investigation report has also been submitted to the Parliament for tabling. The foregoing documentation was formally received and signed for at the Parliament at 11:42 a.m. Today, hard copies of the following report were submitted in separate envelopes under cover of identical letters addressed to the following officials. So, the Honorable Juliet Olness, the Speaker of the House, got one, as well as my people, Hero Clark, the Deputy House Speaker, the Senator Tom Tavares Finsel, who is the President, and Miss Colleen Lowe, who is the Clerk of the Houses of Parliament. And my people, back then, they usually, only give the House Speaker, the President of the Senate, which is Tom Tavares, as well as the Clerk of the Houses of Parliament. But today we have seen, my people, that the Deputy House Speaker has received a copy of the same report. And my people, with this illicit aid floating around, my people, still sitting in Parliament, who are under investigation for illicit enrichment. We learned, my people, that some names will be released in this month, and my people, it started already. So let us wait and see when they will table this report. So my people, where this has shown me now, said Juliet Olness, you can't go around this one here. The Deputy House Speaker have to talk because him also get a copy. So, on the need for table this report here, quick and fast, so the people can know what is going on. Me expect that a report will be tabled no later than next week, Tuesday, my people. As well as in this segment, my people, we're seeing where the GenSec for the People's National Party, Dayton Campbell, coming out, my people, setting the record straight. And here I have a clipping with him doing an interview with Simon Crosskill, explaining what Mark Golin meant when he spoke out at the Westmoreland Divisional Conference as it pertains to Nigel Clark resigning as the Minister of Finance and a MP. Right, my people, I'm going to say a whole heap of people are misconstrue the thing, and I say the People's National Party, if you make up their mind, them attack like them no want Nigel to leave and whatnot. But if you listen keenly, but some people just listen to respond and not listen to understand. And when I listen to this clipping, when I'm going to play first with Mark Golin, I did not get that the People's National Party wants him to stay. More than them a come out and them a say, in a critical time like this, where the country gone through devastation with the whole burial, hole in the budget with a $45 billion deficit, whole heap of reports that he has when need to come talk about, such as SSL and many other stuff, and for him to up and leave. And my people, they behaving as if overseas recruiting them just so, seeing their work and recruiting them just so. My people, them apply for the work them overseas. Them know why them a try to take with themselves. But I want you to listen to what Mark Golin said first, and then listen to Dayton Campbell setting the record straight.
Comrades, I talk to you at a time when we have a government that is on the ropes. A government that is nearing the end of its life. When the Minister of Finance of a country, and one who has played such a central role in a government as Dr. Nigel Clark, can decide to cut and move to a foreign country to take up a work in the run-up to an election which is due within a year, something wrong. Something wrong.
The government has been critical of Clark's handling of the ministry as well as recent budget pronouncements. Now you sound as if you don't want him to go because of the impact it might have on the markets, on the ministry itself. Seems a little confusing.
That's not what he said, though. It may be confusing because that's not what he said. So what he's saying is that the finance minister is the second most powerful person in the government. He said he found the time that he's leaving odd, that we're now in the final year towards a general election. We have a budget debate that is coming up within the next 6 months. There is a $45 billion hole within the budget that has not been plugged. They're going into the discussion with the public sector workers shortly, at the beginning of next year, that it just seemed a very odd time for him to leave. And that is also on the background of the Prime Minister saying to the nurses and the teachers that if they're not committed, they should leave. And the former Deputy Mayor, now Mayor of Montego Bay, saying that those who leave Jamaica are cowards. And the Minister of Finance saying that he was increasing the salary so we could attract the best and the brightest. It seems as if he wasn't increasing enough because he's still leaving despite that 300% increase that he was given, whilst calling on the teachers and the nurses, those persons who are trying hard to make ends meet, to stay and be committed. Now, Nigel Clark has left a $24 million salary to go for a $431,000 US salary. An orthopedic surgeon in Jamaica is currently earning $12 million. But if they were to migrate to the States, would earn $800,000. So in Jamaica, they're earning half of what he was earning, and if they leave, they would earn twice what he's going to earn. Yet still, they have decided to stay. It does seem that the minister is more about his own interests. And it's not new, because Kamina also applied for her work. So it seems as if the government ministers are always auditioning for work. So we're not sad that he's going. We'd want the entire government to go. I'm wondering if the Prime Minister hasn't seen anything that he's interested in that he wants to apply for.
Also, following the Prime Minister calling a by-election no later than 24 hours after the MP of the Northeast Centre Division resigned, and many other by-elections that were supposed to be called that occurred months, even a year and counting, and he didn't call those, my people. We're seeing a whole lot of persons saying that, you know, the People's National Party have a right for not want to contesting it. You understand? And Dayton Campbell spoke out on the All Angles interview. Whole heap of people say the People's National Party now no money for campaign, but they've been campaigning. Even when the Jamaica Labour Party is not campaigning, the People's National Party out there campaigning. So I don't believe money is their issue of not wanting to contest this by-election, but they believe that the Prime Minister is doing things, you know, trying to behave as if he's smarter than everybody else. You understand? In calling by-elections, wasting up a whole lot of money when other by-elections were there to be called out first. And then basically amended a bill to extend one from this Morant Bay area. And some people listen to what Dayton Campbell said in relation to this.
No money to campaign at this time.
Money is not a problem. We are not complaining about money. We are strategically doing what we are doing. There are persons in the society that have bought into what we are about. We have a lead in the polls. Persons are willing to support our efforts. So that is not a consideration to say that we have no money. That is not the consideration. There's a moral issue at play, right? There's a principled issue. There's a poor governance in Jamaica in general. The government cannot orchestrate a vacancy in a constituency and then call that by-election the next day whilst ignoring a vacancy that exists for over a year in another constituency. That should be frowned on by all in Jamaicans.
You mentioned the divisions already, but say for instance, because the Prime Minister said in the coming months he will call the other by-elections. We'll see how that plays out. What if a by-election is announced in Trelawney, and if and when Dr. Clark resigns, there's a by-election in that constituency as well. Will you contest those two?
So that's what I'm saying. We are contesting the by-elections in the divisions, and the principle behind it is that the local government election is not due until 2028, and that's why we're contesting that. But the by-elections in the constituencies, we're not contesting those because the general election is due within 12 months. And the same thinking that informed both major political parties in the parliament to have put the provision in the constitution that there is no by-election within the last year of the general local government election being due is the same principle that should obtain for the general election. It is a waste to have $25 million per by-election. The Prime Minister didn't even come today to announce all 3 by-elections at once. What he's trying to do is to do them serially to try and develop some momentum and try to assist his failing numbers in the polls and those things. So he's trying to get some momentum out of this whilst wasting the resources of the state. How do you look on a teacher and look at the parents and say to them that your child can't start school, they have to be in a church hall because the roof of the school isn't repaired, but we can find $25 million to call a by-election that was orchestrated by the Labour Party?
Another thing, it sort of seemed, well, let me get back on track. Right. Your party workers in Northeast St. Ann, how have they reacted to this decision? That's if they're told.
Our party workers in Northeast St. Ann and in the other 62 constituencies, along with a host of Jamaicans, are saying that this entire government needs to go. And so they want the general election. I've been saying it before that what we have currently is government ministers who are auditioning for jobs elsewhere. Kamina Johnson-Smith was trying to become Secretary General, was it? A Commonwealth a few years ago. Minister Clark is leaving. The same man that said that he was increasing the salary so that people would not migrate, so he can retain and attract the brightest, but apparently he didn't increase by enough to retain himself. We have teachers and nurses and other persons who we are calling upon them to stay in Jamaica whilst we have government ministers auditioning for jobs elsewhere. I want to sign a recommendation for the Prime Minister for some international job because his time is up.
Is it safe to say the PNP was caught off guard by this latest announcement?
Not at all. As I said, we are in full election mode. We're preparing for a general election. So if we're in the phase of preparing for a general election, calling a by-election could not be something that catches us off guard. There's a principled matter here, as you cannot orchestrate a vacancy and then ignore a vacancy that existed before for 1 year and then go and call the one. I don't think that has ever happened in the country before, where somebody resigns one day and by the next day you have an announcement. We didn't have a resignation of Mike Henry, Carl Samuda, J.C. Hutchinson, all of these alien politicians that are in the departure lounge. What we had was a young female that they used and discarded. She's within year 4 of her first term, and she was pushed out to facilitate the machinations of the Prime Minister. We're not going to be party to that.
One other quick question. How can Jamaicans take the PNP seriously at this time with you sitting out a by-election at a time like this?
They're taking us serious because we're not participating in a process to waste the state resources to contest an election that was orchestrated by the government whilst ignoring a vacancy that exists for over 1 year. Jamaicans must take the PNP serious. I would ask the question, how can they take this government serious that would ignore a vacancy that has been there for 1 year, orchestrate one, and then call it the next day, whilst at the same time going to the parliament to change the constitution to put off the by-election in St. Thomas where a councillor died A natural cause created that vacancy, and they have gone to the parliament to change the law to put that off. But they've gone there to call a by-election the day after they orchestrated the resignation of a young female that they have not supported.
Some people want to drop on the 2 cents in the comment section and make a reason. And for me, based on them sending copies as well to the Deputy House Speaker, to me it proves that this report goes to the House Speaker. I don't know if we not analyze it that way, them people, but the House Speaker is definitely one of them people that were under serious investigation. And my people, make us stay tuned, because before the area end, a whole heap more bangarang are go on in a parliament, my people. Whole heap more bangarang. So when them come with them whole heap hurry come up by election and this and that, a be a distraction. Because we still want to know who are the illicit 8 under investigation for enriching themselves out of the public coffers. Right? And I do believe that none of these 8 persons should ever given any chance to contest in this general election to come. What says uno, my people? Talk up the things them. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Run go over to my other platform, Facebook and TikTok. Follow me over there at Isabel Rose. Check out the YouTube store, make a purchase, it goes in support of the channel. Check out the YouTube membership. You get a lot of benefits by becoming a member. Only a small fee per month to be a member of the Isabel Rose movement. Like up that one, my people. Share it out near and far. If you're new to the channel, please to subscribe. On the road to 20k. Help me to get there, my people. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Remember, for those who can support the GoFundMe, go ahead and do so, please. It's for a worthy cause. Thanks for all those who have donated already and who are supporting the movement. Big up on yourself. Big up to some of my loyal supporters, subscribers, such as Angela, Ivan Wallace, Pat W, Arlene From, and the list goes on and on. For all of who they hear from day one, respect, love, big up on yourself.